Welcome back to Tales by WZ. Today's story follows a husband whose wife disappears for 5 days without a word, then walks back in saying she does not owe him any answers, only to be met with divorce papers and hotel receipts. As you listen, notice the exact moment where you would have decided the marriage was already over. My wife said, "I don't owe you answers." I replied, "You're right, goodbye." Then I hired a private investigator, filed for divorce, collected every hotel receipt, and I just watched as 5 missing days turned into evidence that shattered our 8-year marriage. I am 36, and this starts on what was supposed to be a normal Tuesday. My wife is 34. That morning was like any other. She grabbed her coffee, kissed me on the cheek, said, "See you tonight," and headed out the door for work. We have been married 8 years. We both work long hours. I am in logistics, she is in pharmaceutical sales. Things had been routine but not broken. At least I thought so. She did not come home that night. At first I assumed happy hour with coworkers ran long. It happened sometimes. I texted her around 8, no answer. By 10 I called, straight to voicemail. By 2 in the morning with no call, no text, nothing, I was pacing the house. I called her best friend. She sounded surprised and said she had not seen her. I called her sister. Same reaction. No one knew where she was. Day 2, I went to the police and filed a missing person report. The officer was kind but blunt. No signs of foul play. Her phone was still on. No strange card charges. No car found abandoned. He reminded me that adults are allowed to leave. But she did not tell me she was leaving, I said. He shrugged. Could be a marital issue. We were not even fighting. That is what made it so strange. Things were busy, sure, but not explosive. Sometimes the scariest part is when nothing obvious is wrong and they still disappear. Days 3 and 4 were a blur of worry and very little sleep. I kept calling. Her phone eventually went straight to voicemail. Her sister finally admitted she had received one short text. "I am fine, need time." That was it. No location. No why, no when. Her parents called me, furious and scared, demanding to know what I had done. I had no answers. I was just as confused as they were. By late afternoon on day 4, I cracked. I needed to know what was going on, not just sit and wait for another vague text. I called a private investigator a coworker had used for a workers' comp case. Guy named Ray. I explained everything. My wife left for work Tuesday and vanished. 5 days. One text to her sister. Nothing to me. "So she is not missing," he said. "She is missing from you." "I guess," I said. "I want to know where she is and what she is doing." He said he would start right away. Phone pings, hotel checks, normal stuff. I felt dirty, but honestly, she had walked out of our life like it was nothing. At some point, you stop worrying about looking polite and start worrying about the truth. Day 5, Friday night around 8, I was sitting on the couch in sweatpants, half living on cold pizza and anxiety when I heard a key in the front door. She walked in rolling a suitcase. Fresh clothes, hair done, makeup perfect. She looked relaxed, almost glowing, like she had been at a spa. "Hey," she said, casual, like she had been gone for an afternoon. "Where have you been?" I asked. She rolled her eyes, actually rolled her eyes at me. "I needed space," she said. "I am allowed to need space." "For 5 days," I asked, without telling me anything. No call, no text, nothing. "I do not owe you a minute-by-minute breakdown of my life," she said. That line hit hard. It was the kind of sentence people use when they want freedom from consequences, not freedom in a healthy relationship. "You have been gone. I filed a missing person report," I said. "Your parents think I killed you." "That is dramatic," she said, walking past me to the kitchen. She grabbed a bottle of water like she had just come home from errands. "I am an adult. I can take a break when I need one." "A break from what?" I asked. "Our marriage, me." She turned and stared at me like the victim in this story. "From the suffocation," she said. "You are always here, always hovering. I needed to remember who I am without you." "So you ghosted your husband for 5 days, I said. "I told my sister I was fine," she snapped. "One text in 4 days, I said. She crossed her arms. "Look, I am back now. Can we not do this?" "I am tired." That was the moment something in me went cold. It was not yelling or rage, it was clarity. When someone can vanish for 5 days and come back annoyed that you are upset, they have already left the relationship long before they packed a suitcase. You are right, I said quietly. You do not owe me answers, she relaxed. She even smiled, thinking she had won the argument. I walked to the home office, picked up the manila folder Ray had couriered over 2 hours earlier, came back and handed it to her. You are right, I repeated. You do not owe me answers, I already have them. She opened the folder. On top were the divorce papers already filed. She had just been served. Her smile vanished. What is this? And these, I said, pulling out the hotel records. Courtyard Hotel, 5 nights, 1 king bed, 2 guests, your name on all of it. Her face went from annoyed to pale in seconds. Her hands started to shake as she flipped through the pages. You hired someone to follow me, she said. You disappeared for 5 days, I said. Yes, I hired someone, she kept flipping, photos, time stamps. Her and a man I did not know walking into the hotel Tuesday night, leaving together Wednesday morning for breakfast, returning together that evening, same pattern, hour after hour, day after day. This is not what it looks like, she whispered. Room service for 2, I said. Champagne on night 3 looks pretty clear. You cannot just file for divorce without talking to me, she said. You vanished for 5 days without talking to me, I said. We are past talking. She shifted gears. Her voice softened. Tears formed on cue. Baby, please, she said. This was a mistake. I was confused. Work has been so stressful. He was just there and I was not thinking clearly. Who is he? I asked. A colleague, she said quickly. It does not matter. It meant nothing. His name is on the hotel registration, I said. My lawyer already has it. It matters. The tears stopped. Her face hardened. You are going to regret this, she snapped. You think you can just ambush me like this? Ambush, I said. You ambushed our marriage when you checked into a hotel with another man for 5 days. I needed space, she said. You got it, I replied. Permanent space. The papers say you have 30 days to get your things. I am keeping the house. You cannot kick me out of my house, she said. It is my house, I said. I bought it before we got married. Your name is not on the deed. I had learned that from my father's divorce. Separate property stays separate. We had talked about putting her on the title one day. One day never came. She grabbed the folder and threw it, papers scattered across the floor. You are a piece of trash, she said. I am not the one who disappeared to sleep with someone else, I said. I am calling my lawyer, she shouted. Good, I said. Mine is expecting the call. Her information is on page 3. She stormed off to the bedroom. I could hear her calling people, crying, yelling, rewriting the story in real time. I picked up the scattered pages and put them back in the folder. My hands were shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. I had just ended my marriage on paper. She had ended it in reality 5 days earlier. I was just catching up. The next morning she came out of the bedroom around 10. I was making coffee. We need to talk, she said. Talk to your lawyer, I said. Do not be childish, she answered. Coming from someone who left for almost a week without a word, that is interesting, I said. I talked to my lawyer, she said, ignoring that. He says you cannot just kick me out. I have rights as your spouse. Cool, I said. My lawyer says I can enforce the 30-day notice since the house is solely in my name and you committed adultery. You have to prove adultery, she said. I held up my phone and showed her a photo, her and the guy kissing outside the hotel on day 2. That is invasion of privacy, she said. That is a public sidewalk, I said. And evidence, she tried again, voice soft, tearful eyes. Can we try to fix this, she said. Go to counseling, work on us. No, I said, just like that, she said. 8 years and you are done. You were done when you checked into that hotel, I said. I am just responding. It is hard for some people to accept that one choice can burn down years of history, but cheating is not one choice, it is a chain of choices. Booking the room, packing a bag, lying, walking into the hotel. Every step is a decision. She stared at me and then dropped the act completely. Fine, she said, but I am taking half of everything, your retirement, your savings, all of it. You can try, I said. She left, probably to her sister's house, judging by the phone call I heard before she slammed the door. My lawyer, Miss Rodriguez, called later that day. She is mid-40s, very sharp, and came highly recommended. Her lawyer reached out, she said. He is going to argue that you are being vindictive, that you overreacted to a one-time mistake under stress, and he wants temporary spousal support and half the house value. On what planet does she get half the house? I asked. Not on this one, she said. You bought it before marriage. Title is only in your name. At most she might claim some share of marital assets, not your separate property. But be prepared. They will try to paint you as the bad guy. That is a standard play. By that weekend, her family was fully in attack mode. Her sister spammed my phone with paragraphs about how I was throwing away 8 years over one bad choice. Her mom called sobbing about how I was ruining her daughter's life. Even her dad, who I had always liked, left a voicemail saying he was disappointed that I gave up so easily. Not one of them said the word affair. They talked about stress, about mistakes, about marriage being hard. They skipped the part where she disappeared with another man for 5 days. I stopped answering. I blocked most of them. Everything went through lawyers after that. Her best friend showed up at my door on Monday. We need to talk, she said. No, I said. We really do not. She made a mistake, the friend said. 1 mistake in 8 years. You are really going to throw her away over that? She did not make 1 mistake, I said. She chose a hotel, checked in with him, stayed 5 nights, lied to me, and sent 1 vague text to her sister. That is not a slip, that is a plan. She was depressed, the friend said. Work has been hard, he gave her attention when you did not. I was home every night, I said. She is the one who left. You do not understand what she has been going through, the friend said. Neither do you, I answered. Apparently she did not tell anyone, including her husband. After 10 minutes of guilt and pressure, her friend finally gave up. You are cold, she said. Maybe she was right to find someone else. Great, I said. Then she can stay with him. That same week I got a call from a blocked number. Is this him? A male voice asked. Who is this? I said. You know who, he replied. Your wife's friend. The guy from the hotel. Congratulations on the promotion, I said. She is all yours. Look, man, he said. This was not supposed to blow up like this. What was not supposed to happen? I asked. The affair or the divorce? She said you two were basically over, he said, that you had grown apart. Did she mention that we were still married and living together? I asked. Silence. Then she said it was complicated. It is not complicated, I said. It is adultery. I did not know she would disappear like that, he said. She told me she would talk to you. She lied to you too, I said. Shocking. I am not trying to cause problems, he said. Bit late for that, I answered. She is staying with me now, he added. I thought you should know. So she had moved in with him. That did not hurt my case at all. Thanks, I said. My lawyer will love that. Wait, what? He asked. I hung up and called Miss Rodriguez. She is living with him now, I said. They are playing house. That is very helpful, she said. It shows this was not a single lapse, it was an ongoing relationship. Judges care about patterns. Her lawyer tried an emergency motion claiming I was financially abusing her by not paying her bills anymore. Car payment, personal credit cards, student loans, all in her name. I had co-signed 1 loan, but she was the primary. Miss Rodriguez shut it down. Your wife makes around $70,000 a year, she told the judge. She chose to leave the marital home and move in with her affair partner. There is no financial abuse here. The judge denied emergency support. They tried to attack the PI evidence too, calling it stalking and invasion of privacy. Ray came to court calm and prepared. He explained that he watched her only in public places and used hotel records under her own name. The judge accepted it without much interest. Her father showed up at my work one day, walked straight into the lobby and asked for me. Reception called me, confused. I met him outside. You need to drop this divorce, he said. Work it out with her. No, I said. She made a stupid mistake, he said. 8 years of marriage should matter. They did matter, I said, right up until she spent 5 nights in a hotel with someone else. She was having a breakdown, he argued. While drinking champagne and ordering room service, I said. That is not a breakdown, that is a vacation. You are stubborn, he said, just like your father. This is not about being stubborn, I said. It is about respect. Listen, he said. If you go through with this, they are going to fight you on everything. The house, the retirement, savings, you will be in court for years. You will regret it. So that is a threat, I asked. It is reality, he said. Drop it now and we can work something out. Push it and we will make sure you regret it. This was a man who used to invite me to barbecues and call me son. Now he was trying to scare me into giving up my own protection. I am not dropping it, I said. She cheated. That is not negotiable. Then you are going to lose more than a wife, he said. He left. I went back inside, hands shaking. My boss saw my face and asked if I was all right. I just said it was personal and that I had it handled. Then I called Miss Rodriguez and documented everything. That weekend, my wife tried to come back into the house. The locks had been changed on my lawyer's advice after she moved out. She pounded on the door Saturday morning. I opened it with the chain still on. I need to get some of my stuff, she said. Schedule it through your lawyer, I said. This is ridiculous, she said. It is my stuff in my house. It is my house, I said. You left. You do not get free access anymore. Schedule it. You are being petty, she said. I am being careful, I said. You already walked out on me. I am not letting you walk through my things too. She threatened to call the police. I told her to go ahead. The officers showed up 20 minutes later. I showed them the divorce filing, the evidence, and explained that she had moved out and was living with another man. The officer looked at her. Ma'am, this is a civil matter. You need to arrange property pickup through your attorneys. She started yelling about her rights and how I was stealing from her. The officer warned her to calm down or leave. She stormed off, but not before shouting that I would pay for this, loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Later that week, the bank called. Someone had tried to pull money from an old joint account. I had already put a hold on joint funds when I filed. Your wife tried to withdraw the full balance, the bank officer said. We blocked it per your instructions. She was trying to drain what little was left while telling the court she was broke. Miss Rodriguez added that to our file. Her sister started posting vague messages online. Things like pray for my sister going through abuse, and sometimes you have to escape a toxic marriage. She never used my name, but everyone knew who she meant. Mutual friends texted. Some asked if I was okay. Some wanted gossip. I kept my answers short. We are divorcing. It is complicated. I would appreciate privacy. The people who knew me before her did not buy the abuse story. They stuck around. The ones who only knew us as a couple mostly took her side. That hurt, but it was clarifying. When life shakes, you see who stays standing next to you. The hearing was scheduled about 6 weeks later. Miss Rodriguez went over everything with me. She will get something, she said. This is a no-fault state, so even with adultery, marital assets are still shared. But the house is safe. Your separate accounts are safe. We are in a solid position. The 6 weeks of waiting were the hardest part. Quiet days with tension underneath. A few more dramatic texts. One more attempt to show up at my work, after which I filed a restraining order. Calls from her mom to my mom. Long emails from her trying to rewrite the story as a misunderstanding. I forwarded everything to my lawyer and responded to nothing. When the hearing finally came, it was almost anticlimactic. Her lawyer tried to sell a story. She was overwhelmed. She had a mental health crisis. It was a one-time mistake. I was controlling and cold. Miss Rodriguez laid out the timeline, the reservation made 3 days in advance. 5 nights. 1 king bed. Room service for 2. Champagne. Photos. Her moving in with the affair partner right after being served. The attempted account withdrawal. Her family's harassment. Everything. The judge listened. Then he asked her directly. Ma'am, did you inform your husband that you were leaving for 5 days? He asked. No, Your Honor, she said softly. Did you communicate with him at all during those 5 days? He asked. I texted my sister once, she said. But not your husband, he asked. No, she said. And during those 5 days, were you staying at a hotel with another man? He asked. She went silent. Her lawyer tried to step in with another mental health argument. Counsel, the judge said. The reservation was made in advance. The behavior was repeated over several days. This does not look like a momentary lapse brought on by crisis. It looks planned. My heart was pounding, but Miss Rodriguez sat next to me, calm and steady. It helped. "I am granting the divorce," the judge said. "Adultery has been substantiated." Then came asset division. "The house is Mr. Separate property acquired before the marriage," the judge said. "Wife has no claim to it. However, she is entitled to a share of marital assets accumulated during the 8-year marriage. In the end, she received about 30% of my retirement built during the marriage, around $45,000, half of the remaining joint savings, about $8,000, and her car. No spousal support." The judge noted that she was employed and currently cohabiting with a partner. The claim that she sacrificed her career for the marriage fell apart when Miss Rodriguez produced her salary history showing steady raises and promotions. "I kept the house. I kept my separate savings and pension. I paid legal fees and the settlement. It stung, but it was survivable." Her face during the ruling said everything. She had walked into that courtroom expecting a house, alimony, and half of everything. She walked out with a car, some cash, and a story she needed to keep selling to herself. Outside, her mom tried to rush me again, screaming about how I had ruined her daughter's life. Miss Rodriguez stepped in and warned her that any more harassment could lead to legal action. Her mom backed off, still throwing insults over her shoulder. Her dad just shook his head like I had failed a test I never agreed to. I went home to my house, sat in the quiet, breathed. It was over. The aftermath has been calmer than you might expect. I heard through mutual acquaintances that she moved in with the hotel guy full-time after the separation, then moved back out about 2 months later when he realized he did not want to pay for her lifestyle. Apparently he blocked her on everything after she kept pushing him to cover her bills. Winning someone through betrayal does not always work out when real life hits. She is back at her parents' place now, working the same job, telling anyone who will listen that I ruined her life over one mistake. Her sister still posts vague quotes about karma. I have them all blocked. As for me, I am okay, not amazing, not broken, just okay. I lost money. I lost friends who believed her version. I lost 8 years with someone who did not value them, but I kept my house. I kept my self-respect. I kept my ability to sleep at night. I started therapy to sort through the mess. We talk a lot about trust and about how fast I acted. My therapist says that drawing a clear boundary in the face of clear betrayal is not cold. It is healthy. I am not dating yet. I am not ready. Trust will take time. Work has been a good distraction. I got promoted, more responsibility, more pay, some irony in the timing. I repainted the house, replaced the furniture she picked. New couch. New bedroom set. Small changes that made the place feel like mine again, not a museum of a marriage that no longer exists. My mom checks in often. She never really liked my wife. She always said she seemed more interested in what she could get than who I was. I wish I had listened sooner. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had not hired Ray. If I had just waited for her to come back and listen to whatever story she created, I would probably still be married to someone who could disappear with another man and treat it as space. The PI cost me $3,500. The divorce cost me legal fees and a big settlement. It was not cheap to learn the truth, but staying blind would have cost more in the long run. I do not hate her. I do not love her. I do not feel much of anything about her now. She is just someone I used to know who finally showed me who she really was, and I believed her. That is the whole story. Here are some lessons I took from it. Lesson 1. When a partner can vanish for days and return acting annoyed that you are upset, the relationship was already broken long before you found the evidence. Lesson 2. Cheating is not one slip. It is a series of choices that start long before the hotel room. You are allowed to treat that pattern as a hard line. Lesson 3. You do not have to accept stress or mental health as excuses for betrayal. Stress explains behavior. It does not erase consequences. Lesson 4. Protecting your separate assets and documenting what really happens is not vindictive. It is wise, especially when the other side is rewriting the story. Lesson 5. You are allowed to walk away the first time someone shows you they are willing to lie and disappear rather than talk. Lesson 6. Sometimes the quiet win is not revenge. It is keeping your home, your sanity, and your ability to sleep at night while they live with the story they created. What would you have done in this situation? If your partner vanished for 5 days, came home smiling, and said they did not owe you answers, would you have tried to fix it, or ended it on the spot? And have you ever watched someone's family and friends ignore clear evidence just to protect the version of the story they prefer? Share your thoughts in the comments.